Hi everyone, welcome to week 10, the final week of your Math for the Medical Environment course. This week we're going to be covering the last two units in your textbook, which is a little bit of a supplementary section. There's not actual math in this section, but it does have quite a bit of important information. I want to urge you to make sure that you go through these two sections before you attempt the final exam, as you might find some of the questions on the final are from these last two units. And also want to remind you to go back and review the previous week. So anything that was on the previous weeks that you have questions on, make sure that you reach out to me before you attempt the final so that you can make sure you have some clarity around those. And finally, I want to remind everyone that anything that you have not turned in yet, whether it be an assignment or a quiz, can still be completed. The only thing that I cannot accept are discussion posts. Those are closed. But anything that's an assignment or even a part of an assignment and a quiz can still be completed and turned in. Remember, everything must be completed by the end of the day next Thursday. So if you have any questions about that due date or a problem meeting that due date, make sure you reach out to me prior to that. And so let's just take a quick peek at Unit 50 and 51. Like I said, these are a step away from math. We're not really doing any math in these, but they are going to talk about some of the specific careers in healthcare. And obviously, if you are in a program here at Vatterott, you've chosen a career path, but these will give you some other ideas of some of the other things that you may be you may see as far as careers in healthcare. According to this particular textbook, there's more than 200 different careers. I would say there's probably more than that. And of course, the requirements for the different careers are going to vary from state to state, depending on, where you live, what you plan to do. Everybody's going to have different requirements for a particular career. So obviously you're going to want to make sure that you meet the requirements for your particular state. When we talk about the classification for careers, we basically put them into these 5 different groups. So we look at the therapeutic group, the diagnostics, health informatics, support, and biotechnology research and development. So as you look through this particular unit at all of the different types of careers, they're going to fall into one of these 5 buckets. So the therapeutic services these are the ones that you probably think of more often than others. So these are going to be your dental careers, emergency medical careers, anything dealing with medicine, pharmacy, that type of thing are going to fall into this bucket. Interestingly enough, mortuary does fall into this. So if you work in the funeral world, that would fall into this bucket. Obviously, nursing, nutrition, those types of things fall into this particular bucket as well. So I'm just kind of popping through some of these so that you can see them. Even the veterinarian careers fall into this. Even though we're not working with humans, they are still working in therapeutic services. And then the next thing is the diagnostics. So these are the folks that are in, reading things, EKGs, EEGs, things like that. Health informatics is medical records, anything dealing with medical information, and interestingly enough, even things like illustrations. Someone has to create those illustrations that are used in textbooks and such, and that falls under this bucket as well. Support services is things like healthcare administrators, engineers, things like that. And then last but not least, the biotechnology research and development. So these are where your microbiologists fall and that type of career. So and interestingly enough, if you know anything about forensics fall into this too. So if you're a Bones or an NCIS fan, that's where those folks fall into. Last but not least is Unit 51, and this just talks about some of the common medical abbreviations. There are a lot of different abbreviations that we use in the field of medicine. Basically, they come from a couple different places. They could be just shortened forms of words, or they could come from wherever the word actually came from. So maybe it's Latin, something like that. So there is an important area, or an important list, I should say, that provides us with all of the ones that we should not be using. So the Joint Commission actually has what's called a do not use list. So it's any kind of an abbreviation or symbol that could cause problems in communication. We don't want to misread something and therefore give the patient the wrong medication or something like that. So knowing what's on that do not use list is almost as important as knowing what we can use. So as you review this last week's worth of material, if you have any questions, please make sure that you let me know. It's been a pleasure having you in the course, and have a great week.